morning and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor. It is Florida Man Friday, August 30th. And today, Wes is dealing with a wildly infected tooth that has his face incredibly puffy. So what's happening with that, Wes?
More puffy than usual.
Word to the unwise, if you get a tooth infection and you clear it up with antibiotics the first time, it's going to come back until you pull it out.
Wes is a parent, and he doesn't listen to parenting. You know, like his parents told him the whole time, you know, if you have a tooth infection, take care of it.
Did they pull the tooth?
Not yet. They can't do it because it's so severely infected. They have to wait.
Because you look like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Does it say anything bad about Hard Factor that this is the second member of Hard Factor this has happened to?
It hurts.
Because I myself had a tooth pulled after a near brain-clearing infection.
Yeah. God damn. Wes is at the point where the doctor offered him a Jack Kevorkian
the last will and rights.
Offered him an out.
He offered him a priest.
So note to all listeners, never listen to Wes or Pat on medical stories.
No, just get it out.
No way. But you knew that.
I knew that.
All right, our top stories of the day, since it is Florida Man Friday, Mark is going to lead us off telling us everything about Hurricane Dorian. So a little bit of a sad one to start off.
Yeah, an infection in the sea right now.
Yeah. Well, not sad, but just infuriating, right?
Yeah, very angry.
You could see why somebody would want to nuke that thing. Also, next up, we got Pat, Wes, and I taking us through a news buffet of other Florida Man headlines. Take it away, Mark.
All right, so this show is going to be all Florida, as Will mentioned. Even the top story today is Florida-related, but it's a little bit different style than what you're going to hear in the Florida Man News Buffet. And that's because there's a real dick of a hurricane that is potentially heading right for Florida later this holiday weekend. And before we even get into the details of that, I'd like to say that we joke about Florida a lot, obviously, but we joke because we care. I personally have a lot of family in Florida as well as friends, and we want to wish everyone in Florida good luck always when it comes to hurricanes and hope that everyone is safe and sound this weekend and that this punk-ass bitch Dorian misses all the United States completely or comes in as a Category 2 and just waters the palm trees.
Right. We love you, Florida. And it's kind of like, you know, how my dad would make fun of me when I was playing sports, and he did it because he loved me.
Right.
Oh,
it's like when you're a little kid and you trip the girl in the playground. We love you, Florida.
Without Florida, without the Sunshine State, I don't know what I would look forward to every week. I mean, Florida Man Fridays really brightens my week.
I shaved my face into a chin strap for Florida Man Friday today.
Best day of the week. So that being
You look
said,
the part.
the National Hurricane Center forecasted Thursday that Hurricane Dorian could reach maximum winds of 130 miles per hour within 72 hours of like the time of this recording, putting it at a Category 4, which is for our foreign listeners that understand only typhoon scaling, or our dumb listeners, the second highest on the hurricane wind speed scale. Anything Cat 3 or above is considered a major hurricane.
Has a hurricane ever hit Europe? I don't think so.
Well,
I don't know anything about it, but I'm just going to say no.
In parts of the world, especially like
I don't
Asia,
know.
it's typhoons, right? So
Yeah.
they call them different
We have
things. Same thing.
three Asian listeners. I counted them all. It's more European.
We have a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Dorian was east of the Bahamas and was expected to move over the Atlantic east of the islands at the time of this recording. It's expected to move near or over parts of the northwest Bahamas on Sunday. At that point, it could increase and cause some life-threatening storm surges or hurricane-force winds in the Bahamas. So hopefully that fucking doesn't happen. Oftentimes with hurricanes, even though it's 2019 and we have Doppler version infinity and 5G and the cloud, no one has any clue where these hurricanes are actually going to go until like a couple hours before. And Dorian is also like, you know.
What the fuck is up with that? How do you have so many cameras pointed at the globe? You can't tell where something that's like 6 miles wide and moving at 10 miles an hour is headed.
Yeah.
You can't tell where that's going?
Are the aliens controlling these hurricanes?
We can't predict storms, unfortunately. That's why Trump suggested we nuke them, because, you know.
I mean, it sounds like a better solution than not having any idea where that slow-moving behemoth is going.
Can we try some different techniques or technologies
I
to
know.
predict storms?
Twister came out in, what, 94?
Yeah,
and
they
then
had a perfect solution for predicting
remember
tornadoes.
There was all the things that they were uploading.
It's
into
still
the tornado.
believable.
Yeah, I know.
Still believable. This little mini anyways, yeah. So
No progress
For
since then?
example, specifically in the United States, where it would land like late Sunday or on Monday, they're saying it most likely right now is going to hit the east coast of Florida, or it could move up the east coast and hit Georgia, or it could move way up the east coast and hit the Carolinas, or it could go west and hit the west coast of Florida. And
Just
go along
admit
the
that you
Gulf.
don't know a fucking thing.
They have no clue yet.
For crying out
But they're
loud.
trying to warn people specifically in Florida, because if it goes up the coast and goes to Georgia or North Carolina, it's probably not going to be a Cat 4. If it is going to be a Cat 4, it's going to be on the east coast of Florida.
So quick government question. Why the hell do we have a hurricane center? Couldn't it just be the meteorologist?
So they can tell you. So they can tell you it
playing-
might hit in one of these 50 locations.
What, are they just playing beer pong there?
Yeah, what are we paying these guys for?
the hell are they doing? Luckily, our friends in Puerto Rico seem to have escaped Dorian without much damage, although there was one death related to hurricane preparation where a guy was like clearing his storm roofs on his roof and he fell off and died. The Virgin Islands did get pretty hard. I can't talk. The Virgin Islands did get hit pretty hard, though, as the islands of St. Thomas and St. John were dealt island-wide blackouts across the island, and St. Croix saw some scattered power outages as well. President Donald Trump...
What happened?
What's
happening? You got a toothache?
I have sympathy pains for Wes. President Donald Trump called off his planned trip to Poland over the weekend to oversee the response to Dorian, telling Floridians on Twitter, "Please follow state and federal instructions." And then he said, "It will be a very big hurricane, perhaps one of the biggest."
Look at the shoulders of that hurricane.
Hurricane during my presidency? Yeah. It's going to be big.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Trump could not even resist an opportunity to call out a hurricane for its impressive size. You got to wonder how much time he spent oohing and ahhing at the pumpkin patch when he was a kid.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Look at
licking his lips.
Look at the eye.
Look at the eye.
He always had the biggest watermelons and pumpkins in the neighborhood. Look at this watermelon.
I love his obsession with size, man.
It's very funny. Let's take it to the internet, where a comment comes from the POTUS himself. @RealDonaldTrump says, "And by the way, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to Puerto Rico."
Whoa.
Yeah.
Fucking whoa.
Yeah, it's an aggressive statement. Like, it must be
Not
a
the
weird
beautiful
feeling. It must be a weird feeling, like, to feel like you've always been the best thing that's ever happened to somebody, like, as soon as you leave that situation. Like, he's just always, I mean, I don't know. I've never felt that way.
That was the place he was throwing paper towels at people's heads, right?
I like his confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so confident. It's crazy. That's
I
what
want
I'm
my
saying.
president to be confident. You know?
It's insane confidence. It's awesome. All right. Let's move it over. Before we go to the All Florida Man News Buffet, let's talk a little bit about the only predictit.org line that has to do with the Sunshine State, and that's, will the state go Republican or Democrat in the 2020 election? So right now, you can buy Republican at 59 cents, so 60% likely that it'll go for Trump, and you can buy Democrat for 43 cents, that it'll go for whatever the Democratic candidate is.
So
what do you guys think about that?
What's the history here? Is it mostly Republican?
It's a
Florida?
swing
100%.
state, Florida.
Okay, then that's the bet.
So, well, actually, yeah.
Recency, it's been Republican.
But
But
Mark
yeah.
did bring up a good point, though. Mark, you want to explain that?
Yeah, I do want to explain it. Thank you, Wes. If you're not seeing the graphic right now, it's buy Republican yes or no, or buy Democrat yes or no. And if you think that the Republican state is going to win, don't buy Republican yes at 59 cents. You can buy Democrat no at 57 cents and save 2 cents a share. Same bet.
Good point.
So look
yeah,
at the
and it is a
markets,
coin
people.
flip bet kind of stuff.
But 2 cents a share, you put $500 in. That's a lot of money you're going to make. at the
Pro
2 cents a
tip.
share. Yeah.
Pro tip from Mark right there. All right, don't forget, go to predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 to get $20 matched on your first deposit. And be sure to DM us with new market ideas you'd like to see going into the next debate. For sure, send those over because we can all make some money on that.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Wes,
Does someone want to Google, did Obama win?
It went Republican in 2016 when Trump was running. So
Yes.
Trump's running again.
Didn't Obama win Florida?
He probably won Florida, and then I think it won Republican when Bush was running because Jeb Bush was a governor.
Right. Well, and obviously it was the hanging Chad state. So, all right, enough with the political stuff. Let's move on to some more Florida man centric stories. First up, a Florida man out of Hudson, Florida. His name is Keith Mounts. He's 46.
Hell of
He
a
looks-
name. Hell of a name, Keith Mounts.
Good name. Looks much older than 46.
It's essentially like being named Keith Fucks.
Tough 46, yeah.
It is like that. Yeah. Yeah. So Keith Mounts out of Hudson, Florida. He's been charged with aggravated assault for threatening to cut another man up with a machete because the other man allegedly did not flush a toilet.
It's fair.
Yeah, not only does he fuck, but he has principles.
I don't see a problem here. He keeps a clean bathroom.
Was he living with Pat?
Yeah.
Hold on. So when we first moved to Austin, Wes and I got
I hear you have
teamed
a
up.
flushing problem.
We were roommates. I don't flush the toilet when I piss because
You're a yellow mellow guy.
I'm going to save water.
Big time.
Ooh, wow.
Guess what? Pat puts really bad, products, liquids, and foods in his body, so his piss smells terrible. So it's just disgusting.
Yeah, I moved in, went to my bathroom, which Pat had been pissing in for like a month
I was
straight.
not pissing in your bathroom. You had a bathroom in your bedroom. You took the master bedroom.
Another little known
Who was?
another little known fact about Pat is he likes to have asparagus and onion Mondays.
It just keeps me regular.
Terrible.
All right. Yeah. So this guy, no word if that happened in an apartment like your incident happened, or if that happened in public. I'm assuming public because he got caught. The man's official statement to the Pasco County Sheriff's Office was, "Shit happens."
Nice.
So
I like to think it was Keith that didn't flush.
And then
himself.
blamed it on someone else.
did he frame
Maybe
somebody?
he did it in a blackout and was so embarrassed. All right, guys, a Florida man was unjustly arrested last week after doing the exact right thing based on the situation he was in. Todd Mahone was outside of Blur nightclub in Dunedin, Florida, when for some reason a Michael Jackson impersonator came out of nowhere and started performing the hits.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
Naturally, the sight of a grown man who makes his living impersonating America's most prolific inspector of 8-year-old buttholes singing and dancing in front of him initiated the 5 stages of grief in Todd. It started with denial. Todd wasn't sure if, in fact, someone was really doing a full-on Michael Jackson right in front of him in 2019, or if he was just seeing things. He was at Blur nightclub after all.
True.
But when the MJ impersonator called for his performance partner, an 11-year-old boy, to join his act, Todd quickly went from denial to the second stage of grief, anger, and in stage 2, Todd remained until he had to be restrained by police officers.
Yeah, I think that the impersonator probably shouldn't have brought an 11-year-old kid in.
Probably a bad move.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Does he get his ass beat every week?
Is that is that the part of the act? Like he doesn't.
Yeah, he
brings
just
in a
knows he's
younger-
about to get his
younger
ass
kid
kicked.
until he gets his ass kicked.
I'm authentic. I'm gonna bring out my boyfriend. My boy. Todd went on. Todd went off on the impersonator really hard. He accosted him and accused him of promoting Michael Jackson's alleged molestation of children before challenging him to a fight. And this was according to eyewitnesses who included the 11-year-old Macaulay Culkin impersonator. One of the bystanders...
Who's that kid's parents?
I know. Seriously. Mom, I met a man at the mall, and he really wants me to do his Michael Jackson impersonator act.
All right, bring home the money.
Yeah, Mom, can we get HBO next year? Jesus Christ! Yeah, you don't fucking let your kid do that.
Yeah, Todd should have gone to that kid's parents' house and beat them up.
Sounds like a good plan, honey.
Yeah.
One of the bystanders called 911, but Todd had left the scene before authorities arrived. But then he was later arrested before being released on a $100 bond, which is a judge's way of saying thank you for your service.
Yeah, exactly. Todd, you did fine.
Yeah, you did
You
just fine, Todd.
Wait, it was an MJ impersonator and he brought out a little kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you believe
okay.
it? $100, Todd. What do you got in your
The
pocket?
judge drives Todd back to this guy. They both get down on the beatdown.
I mean, Nintendos don't buy themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, guys, a Florida couple really went for it on this one, pulling off a move that I'm sure many parents have thought of, but just didn't have the stupidity or low morals or Florida blood in their veins to execute. So going back to Pasco County, an alcoholic couple decided that their 5-year-old son could probably fend for himself at home for 8 hours and would be totally fine if they went to the bar and got drunk.
You've had a 5-year-old. How ridiculous is that?
It's extremely ridiculous for a 5-year-old. Once they creep up on 7, the thought really becomes a potential. So 32-year-old.
Did they put him in like a playpen?
They didn't say.
Or a
They didn't
cage.
say. Yeah,
Was there a big dog watching him?
just a repeat.
Take care of
They
him,
just
Rover.
put out a 2% milk and a box of cereal and said, "We'll be back."
Yeah.
Yeah, they're lucky he's alive.
You
So,
can't drive yet, can you? 'Cause
Yeah, I mean, he could have just, like, put his
him up from the
fingers in
bar?
a socket and, you know.
Yeah, they're lucky. So 32-year-old Whitney West and 34-year-old Christopher Elliott, feeling the need to spend the extra money it costs to drink at a bar and the money they will now have to spend in court for charges of child neglect, decided to leave the child for 8 hours and then get all the way to their driveway before passing out in the car.
No, they didn't even get back in the house.
Man.
They went to the bar, drove all the way to the
let's
driveway,
do the
and then
math
passed
on that.
out.
That's an 8-hour bender, so that's what the bar closed at 2. What time do they get there? 6 o'clock.
That's terrible. Then they slept for 8 more
But
hours.
it was a violent DUI, that the neglect of kid. Which if they hadn't how long were they passed out in the car before the cops?
I don't. They didn't say, but
The
I
kid-
imagine a while.
the kid basically was left alone for potentially 24 hours.
Right.
but-
Oh, that's horrible.
By the way, this is more common than you think it is that people get DUIs because they pass out in their fucking driveway. And if you do that, you should be shot.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's not good. It's not good. All right, well, that's a sad one.
Yeah, well, when the police arrived, they found the couple, and make matters worse, Christopher decided to call 911 as they were investigating inside the house. So attack that charge of misusing a 911 system to him. So luckily the kid...
Why? Why did he do that?
Because he's an idiot, obviously.
'Cause the cops are harassing me.
So luckily the kid was
I'm gonna
unharmed.
call the cops on the cops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the cops on you, motherfucker. You keep your smart mouth up in my
The
house.
first thing it is, he woke up. He's like, "We don't have the kid in the car. It's hot." Okay, good.
Yeah. So he was unharmed, but just traumatized.
Did he get out of his cage?
That kid has
Man.
no chance in life.
That sucks for that kid. All right. Speaking of opting for the bar, let's go to a happier version of those stories. Jacksonville beach surfer Frank O'Rourke, 23, was bitten by a shark in the elbow while surfing this week. And while that shark bite did not occur inside a bar, Frank opted to go to the bar instead of the hospital after he was patched up by the lifeguards on the beach.
Yeah,
So-
the shark bite didn't occur in the bar, but the high fives afterwards.
Oh,
did.
yeah. That's
The free
exactly
drinks,
what happened.
Yeah.
That's
That's
fucking
exactly what
badass.
happened.
And you know that when Frank got there, he kept referencing the pain he felt when he got his elbow tattoo to when the shark bit his elbow. He's like, wasn't as bad as when I got my my spider web
Frank-
tattooed on my elbow.
Actually, a surfer with hardly any tats at all.
Oh,
You'd be
okay.
surprised.
Rare breed.
Frank and his
Must be
buddy, they said the shark just came up and nibbled on his elbow out of nowhere while they were surfing. They came into shore and everyone crowded around them while Frank got treated. And it turns out that's the best thing possible to happen for a 23-year-old in Florida because all the people on the beach demanded to buy him drinks when they saw what happened.
Yeah.
It's really a feel-good story. It's unclear if Frank ever went to the hospital, but it is clear he definitely got laid that night.
Yeah, Frank's going to be getting laid for a long time now.
Yeah, well, this is something interesting to point out about Florida. Florida is the type of culture where it's really impressive to show off your wounds. It's a huge badge of honor to have a wound.
A shark bite.
Well, shark bite wound. I mean, that's the most badass thing.
Val Kilmer elbow is not that big of a turnoff. He's going to be getting laid. 23, he's set up
yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to happen to this kid, actually.
Yeah, it's perfect.
By the way, you're referencing Val Kilmer's fatty elbow deposit in Heat
Yes. No, in real life.
in real life. What is that about?
I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, check out-
It's like Wes's face right now.
Once you see Val Kilmer's fatty elbow deposit, you can't unsee it. All right, guys. Police responded to reports of a, quote, suspicious incident in Cape Coral, Florida this week after someone called a tip in that a T-Rex was chasing children. Yeah, when the cops rolled up, they found...
An actual Tyrannosaurus Rex?
You're on to something there, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. When the cops rolled up, they found presumably a man, they didn't identify the gender, running after shirtless kids in a full-on T-Rex dinosaur costume. All right.
He was bruised from the night before when he was the Michael Jackson impersonator. It's the same guy.
He's got 2 jobs. I need
for
to...
gig 2.
By the way, I did go on gigsalad.com to try to find the Michael Jackson impersonator. There's 6 of them in Florida. Now, I need to explain something about this story, y'all. This story came directly from the Cape Coral Police blog. And the blog included a series of photos of the dinosaur chasing kids, followed by the dinosaur awkwardly getting cuffed and then getting loaded into the back of the police cruiser. And beyond that, there were very limited details, except for the fact that Officer Dowdle had trouble handcuffing the T-Rex because of his tiny arms.
They're making light of it.
Right. Now, now, hold on. Some might find this hilarious, but not me.
Yeah, no, lock this guy up.
No, Mark. The implications of this clearly fabricated story are very concerning and serious for fans of Florida Man stories everywhere. It appears that Florida may have become sentient. We knew that this was a possibility of happening eventually, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. If, God forbid, Florida were to become completely self-aware, which it seems like they're doing by fabricating this story, it could result in Floridians ignoring their natural instincts and eventually behaving in a manner consistent with social norms. That means goodbye, Florida Man.
No.
No way.
No, I'm fine. You know what, Florida? Sometimes the last couple Fridays you've been, feeding us plenty of stories, but definitely fabricate stories. We'll read them. Yeah,
We can't let this happen.
No, it's fine.
No, I'm putting out a call to the listeners. If you see a Floridian, do not discuss Florida Man directly with them in any way, shape, or form. And if you see,
I don't know. I feel like the Florida Man is a flamboyant character. Likes the attention.
I just feel like they might have jumped the shark here, and it concerns me.
That's like asking a Portland, Oregon guy to not be in Antifa.
Or to go to a vegan strip club. I'm just saying, if you see a Floridian in their natural habitat, just discreetly take pictures, do not engage, and then
buy our Florida Man shirt, which will come out next week, and flaunt it right in front of their face.
This is dangerous, guys. This is
Hey,
dangerous.
guy from Denver, don't drink that IPA. That's about how that conversation goes.
I only got one speed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mulled over saying this, but do you think his arms were just inside that thing, and he was doing something else while he's running around?
Yeah,
chasing after
absolutely.
kids with his little arms flailing around.
Wes, and I
you
guarantee
didn't mull over it that hard.
I guarantee the Cape Coral PR department didn't think about this when they fabricated this fucking story.
That's a fake story.
Okay, good. Glad it's fake. All right. A Florida man vacationing in Costa Rica.
But he was still beating off.
Yes,
the guy they hired.
Of course, yeah. Very hot. A Florida man vacationing in Costa Rica who was last seen with a gigolo has gone missing. Go figure. The 62-year-old man, Charlie Hughes, was vacationing in Puerto Jimenez.
Is that the name of the gigolo, or is it a location?
Could be both.
He's vacationing inside the man?
Yeah.
It's a timeshare.
Yeah.
Little PJ. The Tampa man who met the gigolo, a.k.a. young male prostitute, 3 weeks ago and was vacationing with him in Costa Rica, suddenly vanished from the hotel room they were staying in, leaving behind valuables and other items. So,
if he left behind valuables, that, doesn't necessarily implicate the gigolo.
Unless that was a plant, Mark. Unless it was a plant.
Okay.
Story.
Right.
Unless the gigolo might have watched Dateline once or twice.
Okay.
It gets deeper. So the car he rented was also found in a nearby river, and authorities are pretty sure this gigolo might have some information as to where Charlie ended up.
Yeah, that's probably the first guy you should interview.
Yes. So
What was he doing? Was he? He was with a male prostitute. Yeah, we better find him.
They haven't spoken to the
Puerto
gigolo
Jimenez?
yet?
Yeah.
They haven't found Charlie or the gigolo
I think the
yet.
gigolo's either dead or on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely on the run.
yeah. So my hope
Kill
is
this
that,
guy.
Yeah. My hope is the two fell madly in love and decided to fake their own deaths to throw their nosy families off their scent and live in old man and gigolo bliss for eternity. But something tells me that might not be the case.
Wes is a romantic.
Yeah,
What a
it's
sweet
very
story that would
optimistic.
be. That'd be so sweet.
Wes is always saying that.
Why'd you do it? I did it for love.
And look on the bright side of these gigolo cases.
Did it for love.
His sister, Nancy Steffens, has said that the effort to find her brother has been like trying to solve a murder case in Costa Rica.
Come on.
That'd be tough.
But vows she will not stop until the family has answers. Hopefully,
She didn't say that.
She didn't say that. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. Hopefully Charlie's okay. So hopefully Charlie was packing his piece tucked inside his custom We the People holster, which as we know are all made in the USA and come with adjustable Canton ride for the perfect fit. With his firearm tucked securely in place, perfectly placed on his hip and ready for action, that gigolo might be the one who is in trouble, and Charlie might be on the lam. If you don't want to get stuck in a situation where a gigolo is threatening your life, go to wethepeopleholsters.com/factor and enter promo code FACTOR at checkout to get $10 off their first holster. That's as low as $37, and shipping is free. With an additional $10 off using our promo code. Every holster ships free, comes with a lifetime guarantee, and if it's not a perfect fit, send it back for a full refund. Again, that's wethepeopleholsters.com/factor and promo code FACTOR. Checkout for $10 off, and that is what you call a bake-in ad, according to Mikey Podcasts.
Right.
Hopefully that
and
was okay, Mike.
and I just want to add, too, to the baked-in ad that if you had the We the People holster, it would sit at the perfect Canton ride, which is the angle and the height on your hip, and you would have that gun out extremely fast.
I want to add
go ahead.
that, Wes, based on the loyalty of our listeners, you just killed at least 15 gigolos. Yeah.
You think we have a lot of closeted gays
No.
shoot male gigolos?
It's gonna
It's a
be
huge
the
demo.
It's gonna be the gigolo's fault.
25%. I would say this, that that was very organic, but I think you could have baked that into almost any of the Florida Man stories. Like you could have heard a clicking noise. I can't believe the Michael Jackson impersonator hasn't heard a clicking noise in the middle of his routine, where these guys in the Florida streets aren't just pulling out their guns from their holsters and shooting this clear pedophile in the face.
Oh yeah, it starts with a click,
Or the
and,
dick.
and then you hear a gotta go.
Yeah. And the show's over.
Yeah. So
Come on, Macaulay.
hopefully we'll keep getting those ads. And that's going to do it for Hard Factor this week. We hope you all had a fantastic week as we did. Don't forget to order your Hard Factor logo shirts online. I am wearing mine right now. It fits fantastically. It's an XL. The simple, elegant design is a great way to show your support and let everyone know that you are far more informed than they could possibly ever be. And don't forget about our live Power Hour next week, September 4th here in Austin. Spots are filling up fast, so be sure to sign up now if you want to come and pound some cold beers with us on a Wednesday night.
250 RSVPs, and a lot of people we've talked to that haven't RSVP'd, so it's going to be a packed house because it's a bar. It's
And
indoor.
it's LSU Texas weekend, baby.
Indoor with
That's
AC, and then the top deck is open with fans. And there's going to be.
But it doesn't
bands
matter
blowing.
if you're there or not. Watch it online. We're going to be streaming it, too. So
Yeah, PFT will be there, so we look forward to seeing
get
you
there
there.
early, like 6:30ish.
So yeah, have a safe and sex-filled Labor Day weekend. We will be off Labor Day. Hopefully you are too. So we will see you Tuesday. And most importantly, have yourself a great fucking day.